Welcome to the best old school death metal album bracket fights. That's right, we haven't done bracket fights in a long time, and also the last couple of videos have just been me ranting, so it's an actual video this time. What's going on? Questy's gone back to normal. Yeah, we're going to be talking about some death metal and the best old school death metal bands ranked, basically. I'm going to be picking from one album or the other, as you can see on the screen here, so please play along at home. I'll put the link in the description so you can, and it'd be interesting to see what you guys have as the final album. Don't know what albums they got here, although I can have a quick glance and I see a lot of classics. So it's going to be fun. Let's kick it off with Onward to Golgotha by Incantation versus Autopsy's Severed Survival. Got me some coffee to help me along with this arduous task. Right, this is hard because I love both of these albums. Both slow, both kind of dreary and drudgy and kind of doomy. Autopsy got a bit more doomy on Mental Funeral. This is a hard one, because, these are two of my favourite death metal albums. Not my absolute favourites from each, because my favourite Autopsy album is Mental Funeral, and my favourite Incantation album is probably Diabolical can't say it? Diabolical Conquest. You know what I'm trying to say. But they're both amazing releases. If I had to choose one that I'd play right now over the other, it's probably Onward to Golgotha. I'm sorry, Autopsy. It is decided. Next one, Dying Fetus, Destroy the Oppression, versus Dismembers Like an Ever-Flowing Stream. This is an easy one for me. I'm picking Dismember, but Dying Fetus, Destroy the Oppression is still really good. I remember seeing Dying Fetus live, and they killed it live, but the albums never did much for me. I was never a massive Dying Fetus fan, but Dismember, all the albums, most of the albums are pretty goddamn fantastic. Massive killing capacity, indecent obscene, so many good albums, but like an Everflowing Stream, man. Come on, it's so melodic without going into melodic death metal, if you know what I mean. Like, the melodies in there, so goddamn good. Next we have Death Symbolic, one of my favourite death albums, versus Cryptopsy's None So Vile, probably the most craziest death metal album of all time. I've got the hoodie. Lord Worm's vocals are just insane. But Chuck's a genius. If it was against Leprosy, it might be harder. If it was against Scream Bloody Gore, definitely harder. Cryptopsy for me. All day, every day. All day, every day. You want that insanity in your music, and that's what you get. Good old Pestilence. Consuming Impulse versus Necroticism. So one of my favourite Carcass albums versus, probably at the moment, my favourite Pestilence album. I know my ranking, it was Testimony of the Ancients, but it's Consuming Impulse now. This is hard, because the vocal styles are a lot different between both bands. This is a lot more melodic, whereas this is more just brutal. I'm probably going to go with Pestilence for this one. I am. I think Consuming Impulse is amazing. I love both. Both of them are fantastic. Soul Carcass, 2 weeks ago, killed it. They always kill it. But Consuming Impulse, man, it just can't be. I like that old school kind of death metal. This is a ridiculous one, but I have an answer. Cannibal Corpse. It's Cannibal Corpse. Tomb of the Mutilated, fantastic album with Barnes at the helm. Entombed, classic album. Left Hand Path, got that chainsaw guitar sound, Swedish death metal, but I gotta go with Cannibal Corpse, mate. I gotta go with Cannibal Corpse. They can't do any wrong. A lot of people might crucify me for that, but, stick this up your ass and smoke it. This one hurts. This one hurts. Nile, one of my favourite death metal bands, if not my favourite death metal band. It's between that and Bolt Thrower. I just love the Egyptian styling of it. I don't know, something about Egypt and the mythology of Egypt I fucking love. So Amongst the Catacombs of Neferkar is a masterpiece. I saw Nile, I think it was March time. Oh my god, it was so good. And they played one of the songs from here, and it went hard live. Holy shit, it did. But Vader's De Profundis is so good, and it was in my top 20 death metal albums of all time. So this is actually going to kill me, because I prefer Nile to Vader as a band, but I feel like De Profundis I enjoy more as an album. If this was against Annihilation of the Wicked, Nile's winning. If it was against Those Who the Gods Detest, Nile's winning. including some other Nile albums, but it's not. It's against the debut, which I love, I know, but I don't love it as much as Deep Profundis. So I'm going to go with Vadar. Next up is Hypocrisy, with the final chapter versus Nocturnus the Key. I do like Hypocrisy, but I'm not a massive fan of them. They've not grabbed me as much as a lot of other death metal bands. Whereas The Key is such an interesting album. Very cosmic. It's got the keyboards in the death metal, which is, a lot of people will be like, ha, gay. But I actually enjoy keyboards and music. Symphonic black metal is amazing. I love Cradle of Filth, love Dimmu Borgir. I love Obtained Enslavements by Witchcraft. How good is that album? Holy shit. Diabolical Masquerade, Old Man's Child, the list goes on. I'm going with The Key. I don't care, I like my keyboards. Fuck you. Napalm Death, Harmony Corruption, which is one of my favourite Napalm Death albums, versus Last One on Earth by Asphyx. This is a hard one. Martin Van Drunen vocals on Asphyx are just so gravelly, so like he's just smoked a 10-pack of cigarettes and then started singing. And then just Harmony Corruption is just one of the best Napalm Death albums. It just fucking is. I prefer it to Scum. I do. I prefer it to Scum. Actually, it's way better than Scum. If you don't think so, good for you. I do. But against Last One on Earth, it's not winning. I'm afraid it's just not. This one, Onward to Golgotha versus Like an Ever-Flowing Stream. You got the harsh, evil, muddy death metal versus the more melodic, but still brutal. Usually I like the doomier stuff, but Dismember's just too fucking good. The album's too fucking good. This one again, you got the more technical side of it against the more classic death metal, and usually I like the classic death metal more, but on this, None So Vile is just too fucking vile. I adore it. Now, Tomb of the Mutilated versus Deep Profundis. This one's hard as well. I love the thrashy nature of Vader, but this is just too good to not click. It's Cannibal Corpse. I gotta click Cannibal Corpse. Now, The Key versus Last One on Earth. It's probably going to be Last One on Earth, just the slow, chuggy nature and his vocals. It's got to be. Now, this is ridiculous. I love this album. They're both 10 out of 10s. But there can only be one. And None So Vile is... I bought the merch. I love the album so much. It's too good. Now, 2 minutes later versus Last One on Earth. This one hurts. I don't know. I love Asphyx so much. It's that chunky riff-based kind of death metal that I like a bit more than the kind of lo-fi, not lo-fi, you know what I mean, like kind of muddy stuff. I'm probably going to go Asphyx. I'll go with my gut. Asphyx. I love Cannibal Corpse. I love all their albums. But Last One on Earth is just better for me. Now, riffy or technical? My heart says riffy, but really... I like Cryptopsy more. None So Vile. It's fucking a masterpiece. Next up, Suffocation. Oh, I got Suffocation on right now. Different album, Piss From Within. The more accessible album, I'd say. Versus Obituary's Cause of Death. A fucking classic body bag chopped in. Suffocation. I love Obituary. But the very meat and potatoes, I like Suffocation a bit more. Just a bit more style. Bolt Throwers for Victory versus Grave Into the Grave. Really great goddamn album. Grave is a fantastically underrated band. But Bolt Thrower has those riffs just like Asphyx did. And Bolt Thrower, like Nile, one of my favourite bands of all time. For Victory, it's just going to be victorious. Now, Atheist, Unquestionable Presence versus Gorguts Obscura. I hated Gorguts for a long time. I hated this album. I was like, what the fuck is this? Jazzy nonsense. Recently got into it. I do like it a lot now. I don't think it's as good as Atheist, but I do actually quite enjoy this album. I probably, if I was going to re-rank Gorguts, I'd probably have considered Dead and stuff a bit higher. And I even prefer Coloured Sands over Obscura. There's probably people go crazy over that opinion. Which you're entitled to, but Atheist is better. Just the songs are just more well constructed, I guess, better to my ears. Immolation, Dawn of Possession versus Altars of Madness. Now, I love Immolation. I'm actually one of the rare people that like the later Immolations more, Majesty and Decay. What's the latest one? Atonement and the new one, Fire. Fucking Fire. Ross Dolan's amazing. But Altars of Madness is Altars of fucking Madness. Chapter of Ghouls, come on. Come the fuck on, you fools. Right, Deicide's debut versus Possessed Seven Churches. I love Possessed Seven Churches. Great live band. Glad I got to see them. Never seen Deicide live, actually, which is interesting. I've seen a lot of these other bands, but never seen Deicide, which needs to change. Yeah, the debut by Deicide is actually fantastic. I know I prefer Legion. I do. I think Legion's better. But the debuts, that's not taking away anything from the debut. It is pretty much a classic. They both are, but come on, it's Deicide. If you don't like Deicide, you don't like death metal. Malevolent Creation versus Massacre. Both amazing albums. Massacre's album was fantastic. Seen them, they're so good. Malevolent Creation, though, I just feel like has the edge. I just feel like the albums are better, and this album in particular, I think floors the shit out of Massacre, so sorry. It's Malevolent Creation. Now, Disincarnate, Dreams of the Carrion Kind versus Monstrosity. I've forgotten the fucking name of the album by Monstrosity, but it's a bloody fucking banger. I mean, you can't not have Corpse Grind on the vocals and it not be a banger. Like the shift changes and stuff. Oh, but Disincarnate's so good as well. Those vocals and James Murphy's guitar. Holy shit. This is a hard one. This is a hard one, actually. I love both these albums. But I think I'm going to go with Corpsey himself. Monstrosity. That's a fucking hard one. Next up is Necrophagist, Onset of Putrefaction versus Brutality. Screams of Anguish. I don't know about this one. Necrophagist is highly regarded, but I'm not a big fan. I enjoyed them a lot, but not as much as basically all the other bands we talked about. It's in the same category as the Gorguts Obscura, where it's overly technical. You know what I mean? It's a bit too crazy. I say that even though I love Cryptopsy, but there's something different about Cryptopsy. I don't know, and Suffocation. I think I'm going to go with Brutality for this one. I think it's going to happen. It's from the heart. It's my gut reaction. Next up, Pierce from Within versus For Victory. I know I'm wearing Suffocation right now, but Bolt Thrower's winning. Because I would be wearing a Bolt Thrower shirt. But I can't find them, because they're a bunch of cunts. Next up, Incredible Presence versus Altars of Madness. You know what I'm going to pick. It's the Altars, baby. It's always Altars. Now, Deicide's debut versus Malevolent Creation. This is really hard. But it's Deicide. You know, it's Deicide. They have the amazing streak of just banger after banger in a row. Now, Monstrosity versus Brutality. I like that. I like this matchup. I do like this matchup. I'm probably going to go with Corpsey himself. I will probably go with Corpsey with that one. Now, For Victory versus Altars of Madness is going to get me shot by everyone, because I'm picking Bolt Thrower. Fuck you. Come on, I'm British. Bolt Thrower's British. I've got to go with my boys. They're about war. For Victory, lest we forget. I could blast Bolt Thrower every day and never get bored. The riffs make me headbang like nothing else. Yeah, Altars of Madness is great. Blessed of the Sick is better. Next up, Deicide vs. Monstrosity. Again, Deicide's debut is flawless. It's Deicide. Now, this is a hard one. For Victory versus the debut by Deicide. Just like the Altars of Madness, I'm going to get slapped for this. For Victory. I don't even fucking care. The riffs and Bolt Thrower riffs just melt my brain every single time. Next up, this is the final. Wow, we're at the final. That was a quick fucker, wasn't it? Maybe you'll get another video tomorrow because it's so quick. Cryptopsy's None So Vile, the most craziest death metal album ever, versus Bolt Thrower's For Victory. Not as crazy, more slower paced, riff heavy, but also very good. This is a deciding factor. My favourite Bolt Thrower album is probably the newest one, which is weird to say, or Fourth Crusade. But For Victory is just up there and it's still a 10 out of 10. But None So Vile is also a 10 out of 10. And this one is very, very fucking hard. But I'm going with Cryptopsy. It's just insane. It's insane. There we have it. None So Vile is the best old school death metal album on this bracket fights, I guess. Not quite traditional. You know, most people have like Tomb of the Mutilated top, D-Side's debut top, Altars of Madness. Nope, Cryptopsy. There you go. That is my list for old school death metal albums. Bracket fights, let me know down below what you would pick with my list. Tell me how angry you are that some of these are lower. Let it all out. Let it all out in the comments. Hopefully you had some fun, and we'll see you again on another video.